morning and welcome to our daily devotional from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn. Very glad to have you here with us on this Tuesday morning, December the 2nd, 2025. And this week we are approaching the second Sunday of Advent. And this season we'll be reading from the book of Isaiah, passages that are very much associated with prophecies concerning the arrival of the Messiah. So this week we are studying Isaiah chapter 11, verses 1 through 10. And this morning I'm going to read verses 1, 2, and the first part of verse 3 from Isaiah chapter 11. A shoot shall come out from the stump of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. His delight shall be in the fear of the Lord. Well, this is an introduction to this vision of a peaceful kingdom. And it begins with a prophetic statement about this king, this leader. Although king is not mentioned in this passage, there is a leader who will come from the stump of Jesse, which is the line of King David, and that this person will have the Spirit of the Lord resting upon him, and these other spirits of wisdom and understanding and counsel and might and knowledge and fear of the Lord. And most of you probably know that in our daily devotionals on Zoom, we actually continue our discussion of this passage, and you're welcome to join us on Zoom at any time. Yesterday, we had a discussion about this phrase, fear of the Lord. And it should be pointed out that this is an uncommon use of the word fear. I think we usually associate fear with being afraid of something harming us. Usually fear is associated with harm that has to do with some specific threat of harm. The fear here has to do with not fear of some specific threat, that is, that the Lord will do something specifically to us, but this fear has to do with the instability of the whole of life, of the whole of one's life. And the fear of the Lord is an acknowledgement and recognition of this instability. One way of putting it is that we don't have the power within ourselves to completely secure our lives. We don't have that power. And the fear of the Lord is a kind of recognition that we don't have that kind of power, that we are not able to secure our lives, the lives of family or friends around us, that we live in the face of illness and suffering and death and difficulties and challenges. And these things cannot be completely controlled. So to live in the fear of the Lord is to acknowledge this fact. Most of our culture is oriented to distracting us from this fact. So we have lots of entertainment. Not that entertainment is necessarily a bad thing. We all need entertainment at times. But the whole of the culture is kind of oriented to distracting us with anything that will keep our minds off of our troubles, our challenges, and especially this idea that things are out of our control. And so sometimes people are very attracted to approaches that have answers, that give all the answers, that have the solutions to life. And there's a problem with this because it skips over this line to have the spirit of the fear of the Lord. That is to acknowledge that no one can give you this kind of power. You can't access it. There's nothing you can do. You have to acknowledge that that your life is at risk, that your life is, and all the people that you love are all at risk. And so living in the spirit of the fear of the Lord is an acknowledgement of this, of recognizing recognizing this fact. This requires, and we've talked about this for a few months now in light of reading passages from Luke, this requires humility. It requires recognizing and acknowledging your need for God. And this is a fundamental spirit that is needed in our lives. And we see this in the life of Christ. We see it in the story of Mary and the birth of Jesus. We see it in Jesus' life and ministry. And we especially see it, I think, in his death and the story of his death and crucifixion. This acknowledgement of our need of God, the fear of the Lord. Let's close with this word of prayer from W.E. Orchard. O God, who has formed all hearts to love thee, made all ways to lead to thy face, created all desire to be unsatisfied except in thee, with great compassion look upon us gathered here. Our presence is our prayer, our need the only plea we dare to claim. Thy purpose is the one assurance we possess. Some of us may be very confused. We do not know why we were born, for what end we should live, which way we should take, but we are here willing to be guided. Take our trembling hands in thine and lead us on. Some of us are suffering within. Some long for love and friendship, but there's no one to care for us. There are those of us who are misunderstood, who are lonely, who've been disappointed, even those who have lost faith in one another and in life itself. Wilt thou not let those love thee who first loved us? Some of us may be vexed with passions that make us afraid. To yield to them would mean disaster. To restrain them is beyond our power, and nothing earth contains exhausts their vehemence or satisfies their fierce desire. And so because there is no answer, no end or satisfaction in ourselves, and because we are what we are and yet long to be so different, we believe thou art, and that thou dost understand us. By faith we feel after thee. Through love we find the way. In hope we bring ourselves to thee. Amen. Thank you for joining me this morning from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn, and I hope that you have a very good day. Goodbye.